G'day guys and welcome to Shorty and myself's preview of the Cats and the Hawks game, which is on the Friday night at the MCG, and it's going to be an amazing clash, mate. We're looking so forward to it. We're both going to get a few tickets to go to the game and join in with what will be a hopefully really massive crowd. Preview this time around, matey, since it's such a big game and there's been a bit of a week off and whatnot, so we've had a bit of time to delve into this one. Yeah, what are our general thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be huge, isn't it, mate? I can't wait for it. We've both got tickets. Both to work our way into that with work and everything, so it's good. It's general thoughts. Yeah, it's going to be an amazing contest, I suppose, and it's what we look forward to. Pretty much, you want that sort of an outcome most years, the final at the G against the arch enemy. It doesn't get much better than that, but from a game sense, I enter the match relatively confident, actually. I mean, not overconfident, but I really feel like on the park we have a better man-to-man side.
Yep.
I think we've got a fair few weapons that can certainly cause them a lot of trouble. And I think, obviously they're a quality side. We know that, and they perform their best footy in September. But I just feel, especially if it rains, forecast a bit of rain, mate, so...
Yeah, I did hear that.
Potential that, it could go in our favour there as well, but, I mean, we'll probably dissect a few of the more key areas, I suppose, but, I mean, if I was putting percentages on it, you'd probably go 60-40 in range of confidence, I'm relatively confident, but you just can't write Hawthorn off despite their patchy form, because they bring it to September, and we know they'll bring it. The jury's out whether we'll bring it, but I think if we do, then we take the points. So I think that's what gives you confidence. What do you reckon?
Yeah, look, I'll go in more confident winning than I am losing. Look, yeah, look, I'll put it in layman's terms. I mean, if we bring our best footy, like you alluded to there, we win. I think our best footy is better than anyone in the competition, and that's not being biased. And you hear me throughout the year and throughout years of doing this little show that I'm probably one of the most, I'll call it as I see it, call a spade a spade. One thing that may concern me is our ability to perform in finals. We've won one since 2011 and missed them last year. We know the Hawks just seem to play their best footy, when they need to, kind of thing. It's amazing how they finished in the top four. Like they were 2 points off finishing sixth, against the Pies the other week, and they were down with 2.5 minutes to go as well. So it's amazing how many close games they've won, and that will hold them in great stead for the finals if they. Well, I think they'll get to at very least a preliminary final. Everything going well. I can't see them losing a second final, or they may get knocked out in a prelim, but if they win and get through to a prelim home final, they'll be tough to beat the G again, and then tough to beat the week after. So it's a huge clash. I think if we're able to account for their small forwards, I think it's going to be very hard to see them winning. I don't know if we're going to delve into it soon, mate, about structures and ruck departments and things like that. I'll keep my. Yeah, all right, cool. Look, I think we can maybe exploit them in the ruck. They'll probably only have Pitnet, Fitzpatrick, and also maybe McAvoy. He trained today, apparently. Stratton also trained. Look, I'll go in sort of confident too, or at least so much more confident than I did probably 2 years ago when we played him in a final, when it was a bit of a hope and hit and miss kind of thing, and they were far too strong. But I can maybe see a similar result as to round one if we get a hold of them.
Definitely two of those three rucks would play, you would think, and we've certainly got far more athletic ruckmen, so, it's an area we can certainly punish them, and I think the two areas I feel the Hawks can get on top and concern us is the obvious one, their possession, short kicking game, and precise use of the ball. If we allow them to do that, take uncontested marks and use the ball how they want, then we know that's a recipe for them to be very tough to beat. And as you said, those small forwards. I think I can't see any of their tall forwards getting a hold of us. I don't see their midfield tearing us apart. Like it could match us or slightly beat us, but I don't see it being the difference in the game. But what could be the difference is if a Puompolo or a Rioli or a Bruce, if they kick, God forbid, 10 plus between them, which is possible. One kicks 5, the others chime in.
Yep.
Because that's coupled with a weakness of ours. You probably got Hughes, who was not good in the VFL. You got Ruggles, who is a solid battler. I mean, he's a reasonable player, but he's still developing and he's untried on the September stage. And then you've got Enright, who we know is a champion, but pace isn't his weapon these days. He used to be, surprisingly quick, probably because of his smart, but, you get concerned. I think Guthrie, Lloydie made the good point that Guthrie could play on one of those guys. But, it's going to be an intriguing game, mate. I definitely think the start of the game is hugely important. I mean, the obvious stat, I think if we've led at quarter time, we haven't lost all year. So it shows how important our starts are. But I just think even to the mental aspect of it, I think right now both sides enter with different mindsets. Hawthorn enter this game confident in the knowledge that they can perform on the September stage and win games. Yep. We don't, and we enter against a side that's the 3-time reigning premier. So there's a little bit of doubt in our minds, but I think if we can get to a good start and shatter that doubt, then once that's broken, it will unravel serious confidence in our group. I just think, and the flip side of that is if we don't start well, then all of a sudden Hawthorn get this air of invincibility about them, and that's when potentially the bad Geelong can seep in.
Agree.
Yeah, if you're trying to envision a start and then an outcome, if we were to start well, and all of a sudden we start believing and our game starts rolling, I do think we're capable of convincingly winning. I mean, you wouldn't say smash, but I could really see us beating this mob comfortably, but I could just as easy see, you know what Hawthorn are going to bring. So I just really hope that we come out firing and come with a real finals atmosphere and intensity that you just got to bring.
Yeah, spot on, mate. I think Luke Darcy chucked in the equation of maybe even having Mark Blitzarves on Sam Mitchell. What do you reckon of that?
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, probably Scott Selwood would be almost first crack at it, at least if you believe what you read. Blitzarves has done the job on the likes of Pendlebury and has the ability to hurt him the other way. And I guess also Blitz hasn't been in spectacular form, so, are you losing much by trying to quell Mitchell? So, I think either of those options could be interesting for sure. I mean, Blitzarves jumping third man up gives Mitchell something to think about as well. So that's not a bad option, because I think tagging Mitchell is a must. I know we historically haven't done it, but I think the last 2 months have shown that if you tag Mitchell, it goes a long way to defeating the Hawks.
Yeah, I think as we sort of alluded to, I mean, you tag, if you get Mitchell's influence quelled, and Josh Gibson goes a long way to winning the game. So, as we've seen, they're not reliant on those two players to win games, but if they're down, they're certainly a lot easier to beat. So, I think I like the fact that he went with Blitzarves because, as he said, it gives him a different look, something he hasn't really seen before, can throw him off in the final, and Blitzarves has done some good jobs in the past, so I reckon that certainly is an option. Chappie went with Jimmy Bartell, based on his 2000, going back to the past of 2009 where he tagged Lenny Hayes after quarter time, and I think he got 11 at quarter time and then had 13 for the rest of the day, so we're certainly not going to do that because Bartell's too much of a utility or valuable player to do that. But I like the concept of Blitzarves on him. And, the ruck department will be interesting. And I think, going in, we have a better look at it. Pitnet played only a couple of games. Fitzpatrick hasn't played much footy at all. Somehow manages to win a game from 60 metres on the run, which is, yeah, unbelievable. So, look, I think we can get them there. The contested possession, mate, is a big thing the Hawks have not done well with all year, probably the last couple of years, as Alistair Clarkson often says, contested possessions is a term used by the media. We don't care about contested possessions. We've won about 2 contested possession games in about 2 or 3 years, and we've still won plenty of games. So I do think if we can obviously win at the coalface, and obviously most teams win the contested possession and a relatively good side, they're going to make you pay kind of thing. If you get Dangerfield and Sells getting first use of the ball, giving out to Guthrie and Duncan, kicking down into the throat of Tommy Hawkins, Ray Stanley when he's down there firing, it's going to look pretty tough, and the Hawks play a good team defence, but can be exploited if you're getting first use of the pill and some quality ball users like those guys I mentioned.
Oh, yeah, I mean, newsflash to Clarko, you'll want to at the very least break even with a contested ball.
Especially in finals where it's contested all night.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they've never been an amazing contested ball side, but from what I hear, the differential from this year compared to the last few, it's a lot worse this year. And, alright, the contested ball isn't one of their key stat indicators, I suppose, but it's one of ours, so you'd want to play well against us. I mean, for us to play well, we win the contest, it gives it to the guys you said, and it gives it a dangerous forward line, a 6-on-6 look or a 4-on-4 look. You don't want those sort of centre clearances that we can produce. Clarko can say that all he likes, and he can certainly against certain teams afford to not dominate contested ball. But I think, given it's a big key indicator for the Cats, it then becomes a key indicator for the Hawks when they play the Cats. So I know it's a bit of a mouthful, but
it's funny and true.
They'll need to play well in that area, I think, as is such the finals footy, like you said.
Yeah, no, definitely, mate. You're spot on. He's not going to get away with it in September. You wouldn't think it. It's logistically or logically not right if you're terrible in contested possessions and winning finals. Would you go?
Yeah. I mean, certainly to the extent they have of late. I mean, they've copped some smashing. I was looking at the final series last year where they won, last 3. I think they only won the contested ball in one of their finals, which was the grand final, but they weren't losing it by much. I think it was like to the 8-12. So that's neither here nor there sometimes. But
yeah.
I think you probably saw them pretty classified. They showed the numbers, and there were some games where they got hammered. I think West Coast and Melbourne, I think they just got smashed in the contested ball. So they can't afford to do that.
Yeah, I think it was about -47 against the Hawks or something. Sorry, against the Eagles, I should say.
The Eagles, I think, one of them.
Yeah, how did they go contested possession count against the Eagles in the final last year? Did you remember that one?
In the grand final?
Just the qualifying, when they got beaten comprehensively.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure they lost it by 13. I'm just going off memory, but they lost it marginally.
No dramas yet.
That's what I mean. I think they won the grand final contested ball. The other 3 they lost, but it certainly wasn't those sort of numbers upward of 20.
Okay, fair enough. Cool. Yeah. There'll be some big matchups, and I reckon if Stratton's out, it'd be very, very hard to see him winning. Hawkins will probably go along with, you have to say, Chip Frawley if he's playing. I don't even know what their lineup looks like at the moment.
I think he will,
Yeah, Hawkins will get the best reward if he leads up at the footy and doesn't wrestle with Frawley, because the team defence will get back and stop him, out-muscling one-on-one, obviously if we move the ball slowly, etc. You could imagine, do you see Reece Stanley playing forward?
Probably see him playing a similar role as he has for the back half of the year, I suppose. Like a secondary ruck that is dangerous in attack, because I think he'd be more dangerous up forward when he's in the ruck.
Yeah, absolutely.
McAvoy or someone. I think it was highlighted against Sam Jacobs. How Stanley really took a hold of that non-mobile ruck. So
for
I
sure.
think that's an aspect that could definitely be influential. And yeah, whoever is on Gibson, whether that's a slight defensive role or whether it's just a matchup, has to be dangerous because, yeah, you're right. Stratton, he is hugely important and hugely underrated.
He is.
Sound like a good play. But yeah, I think Menzel's a massive key player to the puzzle. And just guys like McCarthy, Caddy probably drifting forward, just to be a threat. You know, we're not asking to kick 5, although we'll take it, but just be threatening, and then, you know, that really makes them individually accountable, and it opens up other avenues, and Hawkins can get his one-on-ones, which, you know, if he does, he's going to take that.
He sure will. It'll be a matter of that forward pressure, mate. It was a big thing when we saw it in the game earlier. I don't know if you got a chance to rewatch the game with the Cats and the Hawks round 1. I mean, a couple of big tackles from.
That's Friday to do it, mate.
Perfect. Yeah, we saw Zach Smith doing a couple of big tackles in the opening term, and we'll ride on them and apply pressure in the front half, and that's how you beat them. I mean, I remember seeing a few years ago. I mean, if you allow them to get that first kick or two out of the back line, they're away, basically. You can't allow them to take a clean kick out of the back 50, otherwise they'll run you ragged. But one thing I've noticed with Geelong is we're pretty good at slowing teams down. I remember seeing against Adelaide and watching the Adelaide and West Coast game, I saw similarities to what we did, and I think West Coast must have seen what we did there, where we were just able to slow the ball movement down and then realise that the Crows are more like wanting goals out the back and just running back towards goal, where we just slow them down and provide enough pressure around the ball carrier to not allow that quick slingshot footy. So we've got to do that to the Hawks, definitely. I think we've done well somewhat recently, at least in our most recent game. And look, it's looking all right. Going down to the back line, we've probably got Lonergan to take Gunston as normal. This is probably the most dangerous key forward. I think Guthrie played on Cyril last time, didn't get a goal. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yep, sweet, good. Is Buse playing? We're not too sure whether Buse, Kolajasny, Henderson's likely to play from Scotty.
Is that what Scotty said?
Yeah, it gives him a good chance, yeah. Oh,
okay.
Likely.
I don't expect him to play, but I hope he does.
Yeah, all the articles I've seen lately in the news I've been seeing look like he's a chance to play. Similar injury to Stevie J's, you said, mate, and he was out for 17 days or so in the 13 final series, so could be a chance. So it'd be nice to see him play, and we'll see how it all pans out. You'd see, Bruce Puopolo, those guys here. You dare say probably a Buse or a Kolajasny there. I think they generally play on them. How do you sort of see those matchups panning out, or who would be playing on them?
Yeah, I mean, Ruggles will be in there somewhere as well.
He'll definitely play. Well, you'd think so.
Yeah, like as I said before, I mean, the jury's out on some of it's sort of our weakness, and they've been really good. I think Hawthorn kicked 312 goals this year, and I think 120 of them come from those three smalls and Gunston. So, every club's reliant to an extent, but they kick, a bulk of their goals. Without Roughhead, sort of stepped up to take an even bigger bit of the pie chart there.
Yeah.
It'll be a key area, and I think much as we said with us winning contested ball and creating one-on-ones for our forward line, it'll be the reverse of that in the midfield where if we can create the pressure that you said on the ball carrier, then that will be probably more important than talking about one-on-one matchups of the Hawks players, because that's the whole thing. I mean, one-on-one, they concern me. Rioli, Bruce, Poppy, on some of our inexperienced and twilight sort of players, even though one's an All-Australian. I think it'll be important that we can stop them moving it at a quick pace and force the long, hurried kick they're not lowering their eyes or parting the game open with some good skills, then we're going to get a lot of long, high entries, and we can, we know what we do there.
Yeah.
We chop them off all the time, and we're very good in that department. Not so good on the ground. So I think it'll be just as crucial for not only having the appropriate matchups, but that's the game these days, isn't it? Team defence, pressure in the midfield. It all equates into one in what is a rolling game these days. It's so important to have one to have the other. So it'll be crucial. Yeah.
And if you're doing well at the coalface in the clearances, then that will determine whose defence is under pressure in the first place. So that's why it's always won and lost in the midfield, and why it's so crucial to get that first use of the footy.
Yeah, that's right. And that you win the clearance, allows you to set up. We're the number one team in the comp for time in forward half. We're the best in the game at locking the ball in and forcing sides to kick long. I think we have a very good repeat inside 50 rate. So, a side kicks out, we affect the turnover, repeat inside 50. So we're very good at that.
Sweet. Yep.
No better example than that last club against Richmond, really. It was probably the turning point. Yep. We gave them no out, and it kept coming back, and all defences, good or bad, will eventually wilt under intense and frequent scrutiny. So but I guess it's also worth saying that I expect a very tough Hawthorn outfit to come out. We've probably been talking pretty not confidently, but very positively, and rightfully so. But certainly, if people listen to anything and these Cats fans are pretty rosy. Well, certainly not. I mean, got a nice air of confidence for sure, but it's certainly not dismissing what Hawthorn is capable of. I just think, I expect them to bring it, but as we've said throughout the year in this video, if we also bring it, I don't think there's a side that can match it. So that's comforting.
Yeah, it's not too relevant to this, mate, but talking about it recently. So if we were to somehow play Sydney in Sydney, would you be confident if we played our best we win?
I would. I mean, not right. Yeah, confident might be an overstatement, but Sydney's pretty tough. But we've played some pretty good football in Sydney over the journey. I'd give ourselves a reasonable chance for sure. But ideally, we win Friday and don't leave the state for the rest of the year.
Right, I hope so. Interesting if we win as well. We'll get another week off, so that'll be 2 games in 4 weeks.
Yeah, don't get me started about the bye, mate. I absolutely hate it for many reasons, but and don't try to tell me it's worked, Dylan. It hasn't worked. It's not good.
Oh, he's delusional.
It's awful. It's like, I'm not saying the women's game and the EJ Whitten thing wasn't good, but they can. Well, I totally agree with Damo's thoughts. They can fit in other places in the schedule. And, I just feel having a week off there takes away from the advantage of the top 4 side winning. And there's many other reasons too. But, that's for another video, mate.
I won't dive into the home side's advantage of finishing top 4 and top 2, but not it shouldn't be at Simmons Stadium or anything. But as long as we've got some money and bums on seats, we're all happy. But, look, mate. Yes. If I get to play the Hawks home deck, they play there basically every second week. So, final thoughts on the game, I suppose. Going with an air of confidence that, look, mate, we're going in expecting to win, and if we don't, even if we don't win, mate, it's probably not the worst thing because we play on momentum, and when we've had weeks off, that's when we've been a bit flaky the week after. We've won 1 out of God knows how many bye rounds or whatever. There might have been 5 or 6 or however many they have since have introduced the system, which was against Collingwood round 24, 2011. The main thing that concerns me is the week off. Everyone's had it, but I feel like we can pull up a bit short from the week off. And just Hawthorn's experience in finals, and we've got a pretty young side in there, all considering we've got some guys in pretty key positions or areas that really need to perform against guys that are proven performers. So those are the main things that concern me. But what I'm optimistic about is our best footy is possibly or close to the best in the competition, if not the best. And look, our midfield when it's on, very hard to beat. It's tough to block a clearance from Dangerfield, 55 metre, 60 metre kick into the forward 50 full of one-on-ones. So that fills me with confidence thinking about that. And he plays big against the Hawks, and he absolutely loves them. I think Das or Carey alluded to it won't be. So it was Carey that alluded to it won't be on the back of Selwood and Dangerfield, but it'll be back on the back of the second tier players at Geelong as to how we go in this final. So look, I'm going in thinking we can win by maybe a couple of goals. Look, expecting to win, but I'll also be shocked if we win too. So like in a good way. So look, expecting the Hawks to take it right down to the wire as they do in September. But those are my thoughts, mate.
No, nicely done, mate. I'll only be reiterating parts of what you said and what I've said throughout the video, but enter relatively confident in full knowledge of what Hawthorn are capable of, and you just really watch that first quarter intently as to see how we come out. And as you said, it's not the end of the world if we were to lose, but the advantages created from a win is enormous, and just from a confidence and momentum sort of point of view in what you're doing is huge to get a win as well. But I can't wait for the game, mate. It's probably one of the things I look forward to most in life. it's a big call, but honestly, this sort of game is the recipe for footy I love going to. It's the best stadium in the world on the best month on the calendar, so I'm looking forward to it.
The best ground in the world.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Could get 90,000. The weather looks pretty poor, but hopefully 85 to 90, it'll be absolutely roaring, mate. So I cannot wait.
Yeah, mate, I'm just excited thinking about it now. Absolutely can't wait at all. It's going to be a fantastic affair, and may the best team win, and let's hope we can just shut up Jeff Kennett a little bit on the Geelong can't beat Hawthorn when it matters. So I hope you stick it right up your bloody what's your name, Jeff Kennett. So and Clarko and Hodgie, stick it up all you guys as well. All right, so that's enough bad mouth and the Hawks. I'll probably come out firing even more now, but that's our preview anyway, guys. So the Cats and the Hawks playing on the Friday night, and get along to that. It's going to be an amazing game, and hopefully the Cats can get home the chocolates. Shorty and I are going thinking we can, so most supporters would think they're a chance. But should be an awesome game. Don't forget to give the video a like. Don't forget to subscribe for more, and share it around with your mates. That'd be excellent. And thank you for hanging around for this, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.